The Democrats got exposed by their own record. You gotta see this.
I find it a bit ironic because this is the same party who, just a few years ago, were openly supporting strong immigration enforcement.
During a House hearing, Scott Fitzgerald played a series of clips exposing Democrats' reversal on illegal immigration. And Pam Bondi explained how the administration's tougher border policies directly contributed to the drop in overdose deaths. So without further ado, let's jump right into it.
My colleagues on the other side of the aisle have spent the past several months attacking the administration for doing exactly what the American people wanted when they overwhelmingly elected President Trump, securing our border and enforcing our immigration laws. I find it a bit ironic because this is the same party who, just a few years ago, were openly supporting strong immigration enforcement after witnessing criminal illegal aliens wreak havoc on the American communities. I have a short video I just wanted to play.
No great nation can be in a position where they can't control their borders.
While we need to address the issue of immigration and the challenge we have of undocumented people in our country, we certainly don't want any more coming in.
Every place in this country are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before.
You heard that right. Leading Democrat politicians once openly called not just for stronger border enforcement, but for outright increased deportations. Why? Because at the time, the Democrat Party branded itself as the voice of the average Joe and the working people. That identity held for years, but it shifted. Today, even outlets like The Guardian and the New York Times argue the party has lost the middle class. And they cite the 2024 election results as evidence of that change. Now, if you think about it, that makes pretty much sense, especially since MAGA now pushes for policies classic liberals used to support. But Scott didn't stop there and played more clips, this time featuring politicians from Obama era through today.
Of immigrants. We're also a nation of laws. Undocumented workers broke our immigration laws, and I believe that they must be held accountable.
Illegal immigration is wrong, plain and simple. When we use phrases like undocumented workers, we convey a message to the American people that their government is not serious about combating illegal immigration, which the American people overwhelmingly oppose. If you don't think it's illegal, you're not going to say it. I think it is illegal and wrong.
Open the borders, my God. You know, there's a lot of poverty in this world, and you're going to have people from all over the world, and I don't think that's something that we can do at this point. Can't do it.
Yes or no? Would you allow the cities to ignore the federal law?
No.
We simply cannot allow people to pour into the United States undetected, undocumented, unchecked, and circumventing the line of people who are waiting patiently, diligently, and lawfully to become immigrants in this country.
Exactly. There was a time when immigration policy was framed around practical limits. Democrats openly acknowledged that even the largest economy in the world has finite resources to go around. That perspective has faded and was replaced by the fallacy of being humane. But if basic logic is applied to that angle, it becomes obvious that open borders create serious problems. You see, letting millions enter illegally cuts ahead of people who follow the legal process. It also exposes the same migrants to real danger, as many face exploitation and abuse on the journey towards the U.S. border. Now, after running those clips, Scott turned the floor over to Pam Bondi, and she laid out how the Trump administration reversed Biden-era border policies, going into detail how stronger enforcement contributed to a drop in overdose deaths. But before we play that, here's a quick message from today's sponsor. America just made a $2.7 billion move, and it is all about uranium. On January 5th, 2026, the U.S. Department of Energy allocated $2.7 billion to revive domestic uranium enrichment. That's more than routine funding. It marks a strategic shift. The U.S. consumes over 50 million pounds of uranium each year, yet produces under 1 million pounds domestically. At the same time, Russia holds a significant share of global enrichment capacity, and Greenland has shut down uranium mining. The message from Washington is clear. Energy independence now stands at the center of national security, and the supply chain needs to return home. This is where Atomic Minerals enters the picture. Trading under Atom on the TSX Venture and OTC under ATMMF, it's a team with real history. Members of leadership were involved in the discovery and subsequent $654 million sale of the Rough Rider deposit to Rio Tinto. The question is simple. Can they repeat that success? Atomic controls 4 fully owned uranium projects in the Colorado Plateau, an area that has produced more than 597 million pounds historically. Its flagship, South Lisbon Valley East in Utah, lies within a district that has already generated 80 million pounds. The foundation is solid, and the company stands to benefit from policy momentum in Washington. I'll leave you with this. This leadership team once delivered a $654 million exit. Today, the valuation is a fraction of that, while uranium prices push towards triple digits. So, if you want the full story, check out the link in the description. Special thanks to Atomic Minerals for making today's video possible.
So, Attorney General Bondi, what's the Trump administration DOJ doing to end the open border policies of the prior administration that saw dangerous drugs and criminal aliens flood our communities?
Congressman, President Trump has worked tirelessly, as you know, to close our border, which is what the Democrats had asked for in that video. President Trump closed our borders on day one. He is protecting Americans. He is protecting our kids from the influx of drugs that were flowing into this country from Mexico. The fentanyl precursors that were coming from China. These precursors were taken from China into Mexico. And in Mexico, they were mixed and freely taken right into our country, along with gang members, MS-13, TDA, freely coming into our cities around our country.
Now, this is one aspect you won't ever hear on any MSM outlet, simply because he doesn't serve their agenda of Orange Man bad. But if you look at the numbers, after Trump returned to office, overdose deaths dropped sharply. According to a Fox report, in 2025 alone saw a 20% decline. This isn't to say everyone who enters a country during President Biden's term smuggled drugs or was a gang member. That'd be dishonest. But we also can't ignore the fact that the cartels exploited weaker enforcement to expand operations. And if you want a clearer picture of how these networks function, just look at the endless coverage out of Mexico following the takedown of El Mencho. Joe Rogan also discussed the decline in overdose deaths, and he made some valid points.
Here's what's interesting. One of the things that Trump was saying is they're poisoning our kids, and that 100,000 people are dying every year from drug overdoses. We have to put a stop to this. From the time Trump's been in office, deaths by overdose have dropped off a cliff. Look at that. Look at 2024. And leading into 2025. Look at down. These are all deaths from overdoses. I mean, that's kind of crazy. Like, look at that. From all drugs, which is the top one, look at that drop. And why is that? Well, part of it is because they're blowing up these fucking boats that are bringing in all the drugs. And not just drugs, but drugs that are tainted with fentanyl.
Fentanyl is terrible.
Terrible.
Because a little piece can kill you.
Exactly. It's smaller than a penny and you're dead.
And people are snorting lines of it.
And they don't even know what's in there. And the cartel, they're buying, they're taking shitty drugs and mixing it with fentanyl so it has an effect.
See, it's mind-blowing how little attention this gets on legacy networks, while Joe Rogan discussed it openly on his show. It goes to show where our media landscape truly stands. This is a clear win, not just for the administration, but for every American, since it saved thousands of lives as it affects families, communities, and first responders across the country. More importantly, it did not require sweeping new legislation. It came from enforcing laws that were already on the books. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on this story. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember, keep thinking.